Hello and welcome to RT Sports Weekly. I'm Jeff Power, your host for RT Sports Weekly. This is the first time I am doing RT Sports Weekly. I'm very excited about this. It's a live stream here on Twitch. Hopefully you're viewing in to this right now. If not, I'm taping it as well, so I will post it on the website later. I'm doing this more so as a community aspect of RT Sports. It's more so of a stream for all the users here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. I feel like we really have a great community of users here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. Everybody knows each other. We talk in the chat rooms, we talk in league forums, all that stuff. So I thought it'd be a good idea to have a stream here, a video for the users at Real Time Fantasy Sports. I'm going to talk about our championships, who's winning them. I'm going to mention people's names. So I'm very excited to do that. So the other thing is, if you want your name mentioned, you got to have it visible here on the leaderboards. A lot of you have put fantasy player in there. If it's fantasy player, I don't know your name, so I'm not going to be able to say it, but I will say your team name on the stream and get that out there for everybody to know. I'm going to talk about stuff with the site as well. So if there's any issues coming up at all, stuff going on with our site, any type of questions our support's getting, I'm going to mention that stuff as well, so everybody's up to date on that. I'm going to talk a little strategy too, not a ton of strategy. Like I said, this is more so for the community, and I'm also going to talk about some features on the site too that maybe you're not sure of, you didn't know about, and I want to point those out so you can take advantage of them here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. So let's jump right into it. If you want to, also, I am able to see the chat. If you want to ask me any questions at all, you can ask me questions about all starts at questions, whatever you want. I'm up for it. So if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. You can just post it in the chat, and I'll keep my eye on it as I'm doing this video. So go ahead and feel free to do that as well throughout this stream. League schedules, that's the big thing. I asked support what's going on in the support world, anything that we should know about, talk about to the users out there, and kind of clear up. So league schedules, a lot of you apparently forgot, which is totally understandable, I should say, that there's an extra game to the season. It didn't automatically update your schedule to add that game. So you can still do that. We would not just go in there and redo your whole schedule though. We would just go in and add another week to the end, and then you can push your playoffs back. And here's how you can do that. Go to Manage League and then Season, and then readjust the length of your schedule. And then at the end of the Manage League and then Weekly, click on that, and you can change all of the settings and just put in the schedule yourself. That's what I would do, and just post it. You put it in there, and then it'll post automatically to the site. So you can update your schedule that way. Again, that's kind of been an issue. We've seen some people forget about that extra week in the fantasy schedule. It does not update automatically. So if you want to do that, just go to Manage League and Season, add another week to your schedule, and then manually put it in. Go to Manage League and then Weekly, and you can click on that, and you can put in the new schedule there. Okay, that's the big support issue that we talk about. We have a great support team. If you ever have any issues, go to support@rtsports.com. Email those guys. Happy to help you with anything. You can call two numbers on the website if you want to do that as well. So don't forget about that feature. We will actually pick up the phone and talk to you if you call, or if you send an email, we will answer it. We're proud of that here at Real Time Fantasy Sports. Now, go ahead. The championship leaderboard, you can see what that's all about. I will do it right now here on the site. You can see it. Here's this is the fantasy championship, our big one, and unfortunately the player winning did not put his name in there. It's fantasy player, but it's Sooners 99. That says Ryan in parentheses, so I'm assuming it's Ryan. Ryan, great job. 225 points this week for Ryan. Second place team was Mark Bacon and Taz Abila. I apologize to anybody's name I butcher. I'm going to do it. I guarantee it. So I apologize in advance. Next couple players, say fantasy player. Then John Martelin. I know he's a really good player. I know the name. I think I've been in leagues with him before. Really good high-stakes player, so not a surprise to see him up there. Fantasy player A, I think that is our friend Richard Mallon, one of the great owners here at Real Time Fantasy Sports, had a lot of success. 7th and 13th place team. The Deej is on there too. I see him on there at 18. He's another player that's highly vocal, and everybody knows him if you're in leagues on our site. Henry Muto too, a past champion at number 9. So he is number 9 with his Dragons team. And you scroll all the way down. It was really a high-scoring week. We had, let's see here, we had 41 teams score 200 plus points. So that's really a lot of points this first week of the season. A lot of high scoring games, though. A lot of fun games to watch. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed the games this week. I thought it was a lot of fun to see that, to see all these high scoring games and see some players back on the field we hadn't seen in a while, like Dak Prescott. Let's look at the first place players team. This is Sooners 99. I'm going to move over to that now. So he had Kyler Murray, Nick Chubb, Darrell Henderson, Amari Cooper, Sterling Shepard, Cooper Kupp, Marquise Brown, Travis Kelce, Daniel Carlson, and the Colts defense. You can see by his percentage there, he started at 92.4% correctly. So he left a few points on the bench. I always like to look at that. Melvin Gordon scored 20 points on his bench, 25 for Jamal Williams, Mike Williams with 22. And then his kicker and his defense actually scored more than the ones he started as well. And he still finished first overall. So good job, Sooners 99. Good start to his season. I know it's not one in a week, but it's great to be on top. And I think Sooners 99 should be really proud of himself. Let's look at the next team in second. This was the Mark Bacon and Taz Abila team. They actually started 100% correctly. Kyler Murray, not a surprise on this roster, 37 points, 20 for Melvin Gordon, Christian Caffrey with 27, Tyler Lockett with 26, Corey Davis 26, A.J. Brown, C.D. Lamb, Rob Gronkowski, another guy with a huge week, Matt Gay, and the Browns defense. Just got 2 points from the Browns defense, still had a huge week though. So good job to this team, a big week. That's good for him. He started the right guys, got a lot of pushing to them. Got to worry a little bit about his bench. Doesn't have a lot of great talent on the bench. As I look at it right here, you can see it as well. But still, overall, great start. A lot of great starters on this team as well. So Mark Bacon, Taz, Abila, good work on this first week of the season. Okay, let's move to the best ball championship. This was highly popular this year, our best ball championship. Most players we've ever had in it. Fantasy Player A has the first two teams. Again, I believe that's Richard Mallon. I may not be 100% correct, but that's what I believe. It is Mallon who has the number 1 and 2 overall team on the side. 235 points for the first place team, 231 for the second place team. So a little more points in the fantasy championship leader, but a lot of points nonetheless for this team. Let's look at some other players on there. We had Jason Welsh in 4th place, Ryan McMullen, Robert Afflian, Steve Bailey, Kyle Starr. Fantasy Player A again up there in 11th place. So 3 of the top 11 teams are Fantasy Player A. AC's up there, our friend, another popular player on the site. He is in 13th place. Then you have Trey Lee. RJ's up there too. RJ Smash, another big-time player on our site in a lot of leagues. And we see our friend Ralph Shivan at number 24. He finished with 220 points, so good work for him. Let's see how many teams scored 200-plus points. Wow, it's a lot. It goes well over 100. Not a surprise in a best ball format. So a lot of people. So 250-plus players scored 200-plus points in the championship. Good work to them. Let's look at the rosters for Fantasy Player A, see how he got to those big point totals. Kyler Murray, not a surprise. Christian McCaffrey, 27 points, not a surprise that he's on his roster too. Then you have Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, Deebo Samuel, 3 of the top scorers on his roster. Rob Gronkowski, another player with a huge week with 29 points. And then he had some good bench players too that actually didn't produce for him. Antonio Gibson, Mike Davis, A.J. Brown, T. Higgins. So this team's pretty stacked here. He has to be feeling pretty good about it after just 1 week again, but still having to feel pretty good about this team. Let's look at his other team. Finished in 2nd place. Tom Brady, not Kyler Murray, and he had Dak Prescott and Tom Brady. Wow, 2 great options. 2 players that scored a ton of points, and Nick Chubb, Kenneth Gainwell, Amari Cooper again, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel, Rob Gronkowski, Rams, and the Arizona Cardinals. Some players on the bench again that produced well that he wasn't able to use. Keenan Allen, Marvin Jones, Darren Waller was actually on his bench, and he didn't get the points from him despite his huge game, 26 points. So big production from this team as well. So these are for Fantasy Play A. Again, I believe it's Richard Mallon, and he's looking good in this best ball championship. And this week, I'm going to touch on a different RTFC color. We know there's several colors. We filled up a lot of them this year. For the first week, I'm going to look at the red. I'm going to rotate it every week. I can't go through every conference and every color because it would just take too long. take too much of your time, unfortunately. So let's talk about the RTFC Red Conference first. Donald Thompson has the first overall team, so he didn't even score 200 points, had 179. So the scoring was a little more down in the RTFC Red. 107 points for Donald Thompson. Crazy Snake was in second with 175. Then we have two people with fantasy player. And Jeffrey Jones, another player who's been on our site for a lot of years, very good owner. He's in fifth place with 168.4 points. Then we have some other players, some other names here. Ryan LaRusse, Amy Votow. Again, I apologize. RJ's up here with this one too. RJ Smith, like I mentioned him earlier, he's a good owner. 12th overall in the RTFC Red with 163 points. Derek Ostman. So scoring a little more down in this one. So we had, looks like roughly 37 owners with 150 or more points out of 180 owners overall. So scoring a little more down in this RTFC Red compared to the Fantasy Championship and Best Ball Championships as well, but not a surprise. Less teams, not a best ball format, a little tougher to score. So let's look at these teams that finished overall, though. Donald Thompson, RTFC Red, overall champion for the first week. Good to get off to a good start. Donald Thompson definitely did that. Dak Prescott, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Swift, Antonio Brown, Stephon Diggs, who actually didn't have a great game, Cooper Kupp, Travis Kelce, Brandon McManus, and the Rams defense. Let's look at his bench. Jamal Williams on his bench. Jared Goff as well, a good week. And then some other disappointing performances for him were Randall Cobb and Ty Johnson. Devontae Parker played okay. And Logan Thomas is on his bench as well. It's a good backup to have at tight end. So that's the team of Team Donald Thompson. He finished first overall in RTFC Red. Let's look at the second place team. This is Crazy Snake. He had 175.95 points. Patrick Mahomes, 36 points. Nick Chubb, 23. David Montgomery, 18. Tyreek Hill. Robbie Anderson, Brandon Ayuk didn't get him a single point, and he finished second overall still. So kind of crazy what would have happened if maybe, let's look at his bench here in a second, would have happened if he would have started a different receiver. He actually, his receivers backup ones didn't do too well. He just got just a point from them. So it wouldn't have been much of a difference unless he could have maybe used him at the flex spot, which he could have, it looks like, in this format. He could have done Melvin Gordon there or Naheem Hines. A little more probably would have gotten him that first spot overall. But still, overall, great start for Crazy Snake, 175.95 points. And he is in second place in the RTFC. I'm going to do every week, like I said, go over these big contests, let you know who's doing well, who's not doing well, and give the lowdown. I want to give shout outs to our users. Definitely think they deserve it. We appreciate all their patronage of our site. They do a great job of keeping things lively in the chat rooms and the forums and all that stuff. So we really appreciate that. I did want to mention waivers tonight. I think you all know that. There's probably going to be several people targeting Elijah Mitchell. So he's probably the big pickup. And I kind of like him. I know he has some question marks because 49ers do like to rotate backs. Not sure about Trey Sermon, what's going to happen with him. He was surprised and active in week 1, but he had a lot of potential in that first game. He got the carries, made the most of his work. He won that number 2 job in the preseason. So the 49ers must like him. I think he carries some risk, but I think his ceiling is really high. So I have no problem going big on trying to get him. A couple other guys I like on waivers tonight. KJ Osborne, receiver with the Vikings. With Irv Smith out, I think he could be a sneaky play on a weekly basis, getting a lot of targets. He had 9 in that first game, 7 catches. Looked good to me out of the slot for the Vikings. And I think he's going to get a lot of weekly work. Mac Jones is another guy not owned in a ton of leagues. You can get him. Thought he looked good in the opener against a good Dolphins defense. He's going to be better and better matchups, and I think his future's bright, going to be a good streaming play. Then Juwan Johnson, I think he's definitely a touchdown-dependent play, but even with that said, I think it's exciting to use him because the touchdown potential is high. Great athlete, got a lot of looks in the red zone in that opener, so he could be a good boom or bust play on a weekly basis, but he could hit boom like he did last night. A lot of in the receiving game outside of the red zone. So again, waivers are tonight. Don't forget to get your bids in if you're doing the fab. Also, if you're just doing your regular waivers as well, just make sure you get those set before the deadline of later tonight. Okay, I want to talk about a different feature on our site now. This is our Power Score feature. Salty Pepper Peppers was nice enough to let me show everybody his page so you can see it, and I'm going to show it to you right now. And this is, if you want to get to this, this is a new feature we have. You can look here. I'm not going to click on it, but if you go under your name, so it says Salty Peppers up here, then you go under the scores under Football Power Player, and you click on that, and then this comes up, and it shows you what you did for the entire week. So Salty Peppers, kudos to him. He went 29. You can see this little pie chart over here as I click on it. 120, scroll over 24, it says he won 72.7% of his games on our site. So that's awesome. And then it shows you how many leagues he's in first in, second, third, fourth. So if you just scroll over it tells you. And all up there. So you can kind of see how you're doing. Maybe share this with your friends, show off as I would with Salty Peppers here. He's a great owner on our site, and I always appreciate him. He always has nice things to say about the site and myself as well. So I appreciate that from Salty Peppers. But this is his power score page. So if you want to get to that, go under your name and then hit scores, and then this comes up. You can scroll down and you can see that when it's highlighted in red, it means you lost. If it's highlighted in green, it means you won. And you can see all your scores, what place you're in. Really cool. And as I scroll down here too, then it has your best ball results as well. So these are all his best ball leagues, as you can see what place he's in as well. So really cool feature we have on the site. It's really neat, and I think it's something you should pay attention to if you want to, see how well you're doing in our leagues. And there's a lot of people with a lot of leagues on our site, so you can see how you're doing. It's easy on that page as well. Okay, that is my first RT Sports Weekly show. Doesn't look like I have any questions in the chat, so not much to say. Not much else to say, I should say. But I appreciate everybody joining me and getting the first RT Sports Weekly stream out of the way. So I think it's going to go really well all season. I'm looking forward to doing this. Looking forward to giving all the owners on our site some shout outs, the ones that are doing well. And I may even do some interviews too. So that might be something to do down in the future if I can figure out how to do that on Twitch. It's all new to me. So I might have to get my son to help me to do this. But overall, I think it's been great. A lot of fun. I appreciate everybody joining me. And I'm looking forward to doing this again next Wednesday. Might be an hour earlier. I don't know if this is going to be the set time, but keep an eye on the league home pages for all of this stuff. So it'll be up there. We'll put an alert out on home pages for everybody to see. And again, I'm going to put this on the site as well. After I'm done here, I can post the video, and I appreciate everybody giving it a shot, giving it a watch, and have a great week 2. Should be a lot of great games again this week. I'm looking forward to it. Some good matchups on paper. I think it's going to be another great week of games, and it should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you come out on top again in week 2. This has been Jeff Power for Real Time Fantasy Sports. I hope everybody has a great day and a successful week 2.